Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Jeremy with Randolph Running Club, and today I'm here to talk to you guys about the Nike ZoomX Invincible Run 3 after 300 miles, right after this. All right, thank you so much for sitting there through that intro. That's a bunch of clips that I've run various runs with these shoes over the past couple months here, about 5 months to get to that 300-mile mark. I initially intended to do a 50-mile, 100-mile, 20, and 200-mile review, but I just kind of kept running in these. The shoe's been my primary daily trainer for some time, so now I've got some thoughts. Let's start off with the specs. First and foremost, the weight on these shoes, they're a little hefty. They're 10.6 ounces in a US men's size 9. That's 300 grams. The heel stack height is 40 millimeters, and we have a forefoot stack height of 31 millimeters for a heel to toe offset of 9 millimeters total. As I mentioned, primary daily trainer. So the on-foot feel was something that was super important to me since I was going to be logging a majority of my miles in these shoes. I ran in these, kind of training for the Oakland Marathon that I ran earlier this year. And just honestly, any kind of run that just wasn't workout specific, I just threw these on, even if for some long runs and stuff like that, right? So getting into it, they have the full length ZoomX midsole. So this is Nike's premier foam, super soft, super bouncy, just amazing energy return. It's the same foam that you find in the Streak Fly, the Vaporfly, and the Alpha Fly, amongst a couple other of Nike's racing shoes. So it's pretty cool that they have this here in this shoe without the carbon fiber plate, so that I don't want to say normal person, but that the majority of people can experience in a non-race environment. You've also got a rubber outsole with full rubber coverage to kind of protect that nice, soft, squishy foam. I find that the on-foot feel of these was just fantastic. Extremely soft on the step in. You got a great pop when you kind of hit your stride, right? Like each step, you kind of feel like the shoe's giving something a little bit back to you, which I think is just amazing in this kind of daily trainer. Something that I hadn't really experienced too much outside of the previous versions of the Invincible. And this one, I like that they didn't really mess up the formula too much, even though the stack height's even higher and it is a slightly different formulation of ZoomX. Still feels very soft, but somehow a little bit more racy is the word that I might want to use. Like, I feel that these shoes have even a little bit more pop than the Invincible 2s that I reviewed last year. And what I really enjoyed about that was they could kind of work for a plethora of different runs. I found they were the most comfortable for me at like kind of a nice steady pace where I was running, for me, a little bit slower than marathon pace, maybe like 8 minutes to 8 minutes, 30 seconds per mile, something like that. However, I found that if I was doing a fartlek run or even sometimes intervals, I did a long run where I had a pretty good chunk of the run at, 7 minute per mile pace over the course of, I think it was like 13 miles, and these shoes performed flawlessly. And that was even at the point where I had about 200 miles on the shoe, still felt very lively, still felt great underfoot. So I think this is one of those shoes that can really kind of do everything for you. If you were just trying to look for one shoe to kind of do it all, no issues there. You've also got the Nike Flyknit upper on top. This is interesting for me because it is Flyknit, but it's not quite the Flyknit that you might remember. My first ever real encounter with that was with the React, the Infinity React, and that shoe I just thought was so amazing. I'm sorry, it wasn't the Infinity, it was the Epic React 2, and I felt like that shoe was so good. It was the ZoomX, or not ZoomX, but the React foam that I really like, the nice stretchy knit upper, and I feel like Nike's kind of gone away from that a little bit with this version of Flyknit. Still feels good, hugs the foot, kind of gives you that sock-like texture, but it's just not quite what it once was. This feels a little bit tougher to my foot, but as long as you got some good socks and everything, I have had no issues at all with blisters or anything like that. Comfort is amazing, even at 300 miles. Now let's talk about durability. I find Nike is one of the better brands for durability. So I'm going to show you this outsole. See if we get that in focus. Yep. So you see, it's a little chewed up in some spots. It's definitely smoothed out in some of these traction patches in the forefoot, which is where I traditionally strike. However, the foam is still intact. It's held up extremely well. Hasn't really been, chewed up in any way. It's just that exposed rubber, which is okay. That's what it's there for, right? It's to protect the part of the shoe that you're really paying for, which is that nice cushiony midsole. What I have found with the durability though is when I first got the shoe, it was like a cloud, super soft, super springy. As I kind of continued to wear it, I feel like it just lost a little bit of that pop, a little bit of that resiliency. I actually just bought a pair of Hoka Clifton 9s that I'm going to probably review here on the channel pretty soon. Now that I've got those to 50 miles, and I ran in the two shoes on back-to-back days. I took the Invincibles for a long run, about 10 miles, and then I ran 6 miles the next day in the Hokas. And it's interesting because the Hokas feel much more firm than the Invincible 3s, in my opinion. But because I have the Invincibles at 300 miles and the Hokas are at the time we're at like 30 or something, I found that they kind of felt comparable, even though the Invincibles didn't start that way, if that makes sense. So this is a shoe, I think you can get a lot of good wear out of it. I weigh about like 215 pounds, so I'm putting a lot of stress on the shoe. But if you're a lighter runner, I think you could easily get these to over 500 miles. And I think that most people will see that kind of use. I could still run in these. I just personally, I'm always kind of on to the next thing. I think 300 miles is kind of the nice spot, especially for a daily trainer where, if I donate the shoe, it still has some life in it for the next person. So that's why I'm calling it quits. But I think the shoe still has a ton of life left if I so chose. It just wouldn't be for the same type of runs that I was using it for. So instead of grabbing it for every single run, maybe it just becomes a really nice easy day shoe where I'm going out for like 4 miles or something, 5 miles tops, and kind of retires from that long run duty or any intervals or anything like that I might be running. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes here. Let's talk about the value of the shoe. I know that's super important to everybody. I know it's important to me. These shoes I found at $180 original retail. I know you can get them on sale nowadays since they've been out for a while, but $180, I wouldn't say it's cheaper than the direct competition necessarily. This is a shoe that's going up against maybe like the Hoka Bondis, which is a similar price. I think those might be like $165. I know Asics released kind of their version of this, which is the shoe, I think it's the Super Blast that has, the same type of foam as their Metaspeed Sky and this and that, right? But it doesn't really have a plate or anything. So it's kind of the same idea as this shoe. And I think that's like $220. So it's somewhere in the middle of the competitors, right? Not on the high side, not on the low. Definitely not cheap, but I will say if you can use this shoe how I have for the last 5 months, and it's kind of just your go-to shoe when you don't know exactly what type of run you're going to be on, just pick these bad boys up, then I think you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, especially because I think you could easily take these shoes to 400, 500 miles, maybe more, depending on your run stride, how much you weigh, etc. So for me, $180 is not cheap. I wish that these shoes were like 150, 130 maybe. That would be amazing. But even at the original price, I thought that it wasn't a bad deal. And I think at $180, as long as you're using these as kind of your daily trainer and you're getting great mileage out of them, they're keeping you from getting injured, then I think it's worth it, right? Especially when you consider that the competition is a similar or higher price for the most part. So let's just, kind of recap here. Would I buy these shoes again? That is a definitive yes. I'd love these shoes. My wife actually got a pair and ran, I think her second or third half marathon in them this year. And she's really enjoyed them as well. So, it's been just an awesome shoe for me. I've enjoyed every single run that I've run in them and not really had any regrets whatsoever. So all in all, yes, I would totally buy them again. I think they hold up extremely well compared to the competition. I also had a pair of Hoka Bondi 8s that didn't feel nearly as good once they got to about 200 miles. And, I think it's a good looking shoe. I think you can wear it pretty much anywhere. I've worn these, you know, through the airport and stuff like that, taking them on trips where it's the only shoe I've had and not really had any big issues. So yes, this resounding yes, I would totally buy them again. And I'm really looking forward to version 4. I've actually had every single version of the Invincible at this point, and I have a pair of Streak Flies, Vapor Flies, and Alpha Flies, so I probably should do like a ZoomX comparison. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you guys would be interested in. But thanks again so much for watching this video. If you like this content, please leave a like, comment. I'd love to chat with you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And as always, stay safe out there, inspire others, and stay blessed, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Take it easy.